intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having great people that know how to protect themselves.
And when you say better, what's
we'll come down so hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard that the gloves are off so beautifully.
Hi guys, Enigma here, and I'm a qualified body language analyst and private investigator. And today I'm going to be reacting to President Trump's response to the growing Iran-Israeli conflict, and the threat from Iran that if the US gets involved, they will strike US bases.
President, any statement on why you're leaving the G7 early for Washington?
Well, I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host. They did a fantastic job. Thank you in Canada. But you probably see what I see, and I have to be back as soon as I can. I'm going to have dinner with these wonderful leaders, and then I get on the plane. I have to be back early.
Have you talked to the National Security Council?
I loved it. I tell you, I loved it. And I think we got a lot done. Really a lot done. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but they understand.
Is there a reason,
big,
Mr. President, that you can't do your business
you have
from
questions
here?
for anybody else?
Have you a reason that you can't do your business from here?
So you can instantly see here that most of the leaders are extremely uncomfortable. The French President and German Chancellor are both pacifying, whilst the British PM and European Commission President are both making self-touch with themselves. They are finding the situation extremely awkward. The only person here who appears to be really interested is the Italian Prime Minister, who has quite a good relationship with Trump. Her arms are folded, and she's also doing what's called the head tilt, which is a sign of extreme interest and focus.
Is there a reason you can't do your business from here, sir?
We've got a bit more work to do, so we'll go do it over
Mr.
dinner.
Carney,
But
have you
thank you
been
very
briefed
much.
on this?
I'm very grateful for the president's presence and contributions, and I fully understand why.
We'll see
why
you
he
on the
must
plane.
return. Okay,
We'll see you on
take
the
care.
plane.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
So President Trump then rushed back off to the USA, where he held a very long emergency meeting in the Situation Room to discuss the Iranian conflict.
what specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
And then a real end, not a ceasefire. And then
So something that will be permanent.
or giving up entirely. That's
that
okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible in the next 24
Why
hours?
not? Certainly possible. Complete give up. That's possible, yeah.
So Trump is doing what's called a grounding behavior here, leaning his body on the doorway of the aircraft to support himself. Now, we typically do this when in a state of stress, as a way of generating a feeling of support and security. However, as nothing is being spoken about that would really generate him stress, and none of his other nonverbals indicate this, it's likely just because he's tired. He's been dealing with this crisis whilst also attending the G7 summit. One thing that really strikes me is that Trump is having to genuinely think on the spot, as opposed to drawing from a prepared policy position regarding Iran, as if he hasn't established a clear objective yet. When he is asked what he's looking for, he immediately distances as well as expresses muscle tension, which is a sign that he's under a good amount of cognitive load. The question forces him to distance, which is his brain effectively creating breathing space for him to think. He pairs this with mouth tension, which is often associated with cognitive strain during decision making, all indicating that his brain is working harder than usual to generate a response. I think that Trump has been drawn into this situation. Maybe the Israeli government convinced him, I don't know.
Remember, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We don't have to go too deep into it. They just can't have a nuclear weapon.
Well, Mr. President, you've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having.
So when this journalist is speaking, Trump does what's called the tongue press, and presses his tongue against his mouth when she kind of cuts him off. This is a pacifying behavior and is used as a method of self-regulation. It's a sign that he's frustrated, and that's probably because he feels cut off by the journalist. And when he's allowed to speak, he's very blunt and quick to move on to a different journalist. In other words, don't cut him off.
Great people that know how to protect themselves.
And when you say better, what's
We'll come down so hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard that the gloves are off so beautifully. Now, I think they know not to touch our troops.
One thing that is super subtle but very revealing here is that Trump smiles slightly when responding that the US will retaliate strongly if Iran were to strike US bases. It's really hard to see as he doesn't exactly express it with his mouth, more the muscles in his face, and around 20 to 30% of the muscles involved in a genuine smile are actually found in the face and cheeks, not the mouth. And we can see them activate here. This suggests that he's extremely confident in the fact that the US would annihilate Iran's military in retaliation, indicating that he's confident that they won't attack. He suppresses this smile, so it's highly likely that this is a genuine non-verbal behavior and not consciously controlled. The smile reflects his confidence and satisfaction at the idea that the US would absolutely dominate that scenario.
I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so, everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you gotta do something. You gotta negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that, and they got hit.
So this is interesting. When Trump says that Iran's got a lot of trouble, he briefly pauses as well as pacifies with his mouth, making the same tongue press as before. He isn't just saying this for show, as that pause and pacifying shows clearly that Trump is experiencing a significant emotional reaction when thinking about the situation, so much so that it impacts his nonverbals. If he was simply reiterating US policy against Iran, I don't think we would see this reaction. Trump is emotionally agitated by what Iran is doing, and that is very dangerous if you're Iran. And it's probably because they threatened US bases.
Do you think it's too late?
Nothing's too late. The only thing too late is Powell. Powell's too late. Too late, Powell.
Have the Iranians reached out to you, Mr. President?
What?
Have the Iranians reached out to you?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said it's very late. I said it's very late to be talking. We may meet. It's. I don't know. There's a big difference between now and a week ago, right? Big difference.
You said we may meet. Is this about Vance and with Trump possibly going to talk about?
It's about anybody. They even suggested they come to the White House. Nothing's finished until it's finished. War is very complex. A lot of bad things can happen. A lot of turns are made. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that we won anything yet. I would say that we sure as hell made a lot of progress. And
Trump again shows a strong emotional reaction when asked what he thought about Iran approaching the US. He presses his lips together and briefly distances before expressing consciously controlled body language with his arms. Trump rarely gives off nonverbal communication that isn't deliberate. However, when it comes to the Iran situation, he seems far more expressive. It's really interesting. Based on what I've seen, I think if the situation continues as it is now, there will be some form of involvement from the USA. When the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America shows genuine frustration and emotion at what your country's doing, it can't be good if you keep doing exactly that.